this is Steve at XtremeLyfe.com Shark Diver Network Series. I'm about to sit down with two awesome shark divers, David Finch and Houston. These guys are on the Dolphin Dream. Great boat. We come out here every year. We're just out here in January, coming back out in January again. So just in a few minutes, I'm going to sit down and be joined by these guys. It's going to be an awesome, we're just going to talk everything sharks and you know, whatever else comes up. So you know how we do it. It's just a free-form conversation, and hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned. This is Steve D at XtremeLyfe.com. I'm here with Houston and Finch, two awesome shark feeders and divers out here at the Dolphin Dream. But we're basically just, you know, hanging out, and we're talking about sharks and all the stuff that goes on. And you know, what I'm interested in is what gets you, you know, what makes you go out and do this? What is the drive to go out and feed sharks? And, you know, some people would think that's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think it is crazy, but a lot of people haven't experienced this, and that's one of my major drives in doing it is the knowledge that very few people throughout the course of human history have ever had the opportunity to do something like this, regardless of how scary it might be.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of bad press with sharks, too. You know, I mean, people, you know, there was just that girl who got bit and killed. And, you know, right away it was interesting because the news was basically saying that, you know, 3 sharks, like, attacked her, and basically they made it sound like there was a coordinated attack on her. And, you know, and it's kind of like mainstream media really, you know, it pushes my buttons, man. I'll tell you what, I get really upset when I hear that stuff. There's
always going to be sensationalist journalism, especially when you have, like, a profit-driven news agency on the internet like this. But I'm actually kind of waiting for a pretty respected member of the shark behavior community, Eric Ritter, to come out. He said we're waiting to get all the details before we make a judgment call on whether this was an attack or mistaken identity or something that could have been helped or prevented another way.
Yeah, yeah, and most of the time it is a case of mistaken identity. Yeah. I mean, you think about what sharks do is they literally are looking for sick and injured animals to eat. And when people are swimming around in the ocean, that's what they look like, right? Yeah, especially at the surface. And sharks come up, they hit you. And unfortunately for people, we're very fragile, right? Yeah. We don't handle that very well. All right. So, Dave, what got you into this?
I had a friend who was a photographer, and he needed a picture. So I tried to help him out with feeding a lionfish to a reef shark, and I sort of got hooked and been a dive guide in West Palm, and when a spot opened up on this boat, I just really wanted to give it a shot.
Yeah. And you jumped on it.
And the rest is history. So
okay.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Any close calls? I mean, have you ever had any, like...
You would ask that question. You'd have to ask.
Well, of course I have to ask that question. You know, I have no knowledge of any of that stuff.
Yeah, of course not. No. That wasn't loaded at all.
So no. But, like, you know, I mean, because, I mean, that's you know, you're feeding sharks, and you know, one thing you learn is stay away from the pointy end.
Yeah, of course.
But, you know, when you're feeding them, I mean, sometimes, you know, you get into situations where things can get a little crazy. I know we had 9 tiger sharks around us.
Yeah.
Now, all right, so let me flip the question a little bit. I'll flip it up for you. You know, is there a time when it gets, all right, so is there a prime number of sharks that works really well as opposed to when it gets a little too crazy?
I think each feeder is going to have their preference. Like Finch prefers it a different way than I do. It got to a point where it's almost like a bit of a drug. Like it has to be a little more exciting for you to actually enjoy it. So for me, like originally, if there were 2 tiger sharks there, it was super exciting for me, like incredible, exhilarating. And then eventually that number became 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 is about the limit for me, to where it becomes like, this is really exciting, to it's becoming a handful, and then thing over 6, 7, depending on what the currents do and which sharks are there, because each of these sharks have an individual personality. Like if there's a bunch of key players there that all have very charismatic personalities, we'll say, then 3 sharks could be a handful, but you could have 9 that are pretty organized, pretty chill sharks that are smooth sailing with 9 tiger sharks.
Okay.
I think Finch has a little different personality or different preferences.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, to me, it's like you build a relationship with the animals, and I mean, they're still wild, but you get to know their personalities, and they get to know us too, because they know the difference between Houston and myself.
Well, you wear that very colorful
Yeah,
headgear that you have on.
yeah, so that helps, and I put eyes in the back of that too, you know, so they know. Maybe buys me an extra second if they're trying to sneak up behind us, but yeah, you get to know them, and like for me, it's more like get to know them, show that they're not just crazy. You know, they don't just go thrashing nuts, and they're pretty calm. I mean, we have to work to get them to open their mouths and tease them a little bit, and if it's in a different environment, like when we do it from the side of the reef or something, and you just let them show up and hand them a piece of bait, like they'll take it. They don't even open their mouth a whole bunch. They grab it real gentle, like it just depends on the shark, and then what we're trying to do, mostly for the photographers, you know. So if we're trying to get the open mouth shot, then we have to do things to the sharks that, you know, not like be mean to them, but like tease them a little bit with the fish, get them
Some
set up the shot. You're gonna set up the shot, and that's, you know,
and part of our job,
which is invariably what leads to close calls for the most part. Most of the close calls are trying to do cool things for photographers.
Yeah, because everybody wants that shot. You know,
absolutely.
everybody wants that one shot. Even myself, I come out with you guys, I'm like, I want that bite shot. I want that shot. I want to see the back of their tail.
They're open
when I'm shooting.
You want to see where the food comes out of.
Yeah.
Open.
Well, inadvertently, you know, what happens after they open their mouth is they shut it again, generally on your camera.
But it makes you just smash the shutter button. That's all you got to do.
You just keep hitting, you know. I mean, that's
Maybe
it.
something cool will come out of it,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, everybody has, I think everybody has close calls. I mean, and people that have been in the industry longer are going to have more close calls and closer calls than others.
Absolutely.
Some people get humbled pretty quick. There's a couple people that come on the boat. I mean, even myself, the first time I ever got real scared was probably like my second week.
Okay.
Just shark came up, opened up, and usually when they come up and open up on you, you can hold their mouth, put your hand on the top of their jaw and the bottom of their jaw, and they're going to close their mouth, and you kind of sweep them one way or another.
Yeah,
but
push them off.
this particular shark, like I had done this a few times at this point. She came up, opened up, and didn't close, so my hands are like,
stuck like
this, and then she's getting closer, so I feel my hands getting to the top of my head and to the middle of my chest. I'm like, this mouth isn't shut yet.
My head's about to go in.
Yeah, I'm looking down this thing's gullet, and that makes your butthole pucker real quick.
Yeah,
you know?
it does.
Just just about the time you start getting a little too cocky, they humble you real quick.
Well, and I think that's important. You know, you always need to be humble. I was just talking to Dave about. You know, I just interviewed Natalia and Doug Russo, who was out here with us in January, and they're both brand new divers. Yeah. And we took them out to, you know, we were out on Jupiter on the ledge, diving deep ledge, and you know, I think there was a little humbling because you know, you come out to Tiger Beach, you're overweighted, you drop to the bottom, you kind of just sit there and hang out. It's an easy dive, right? You go out to the Jupiter ledge. Well, now you're dealing with a ripping current.
Buoyancy control.
Buoyancy's a very big factor. You're going in negative. You're basically just dropping in and going right down to 90 feet. And all of a sudden now you're whipping, the current's whipping you, and you're doing, you know, I think we drifted 2.5 miles on that first dive.
I'm not a fan of drift diving. This is a drift diving extraordinaire over here.
But, you know, it humbles you, and we talked about that. I said, you know, it's good to be humbled a little bit because
Absolutely.
You need to realize that this is not a game. I mean, people do have, you know, I mean, divers do get into serious trouble sometimes, and when you get overconfident, that's what does it, and you're diving beyond your limits. So it's good to know. Every once in a while, you get checked.
Yeah,
you know,
people forget that it's an untamed wilderness. The ocean is an incredibly hostile environment. You know, it's still survival of the fittest. We don't have sprawling urban cities in the open ocean. You know, that doesn't happen. It is a wilderness, and it can humble.
And
you
it's
real
their
quick.
wilderness, and we're going into it, and you know we'd be fools to think we can control every situation. I mean, that's why there's a death waiver.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's a death waiver.
We should read that sucker. Let everybody know what you have to sign when you go on this vessel.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean but for the most part, you know, I mean, it's done in the most controlled way possible.
As much as you can, yeah.
As much as you can, and you know, you guys are great with trying to, you know, figure out which divers are really kind of on point, where you could put people. And that's one of the things I noticed when I was out here with you guys is you guys are really good at like kind of manipulating the situation. Like you won't even put somebody near the box until day 3 or 4 once you know them pretty well.
Yeah, Finch is he's been diving much longer than I have, so he's a little better at feeling out divers than I am.
Okay.
So I kind of defer to him when we're kind of discussing these things, whether or not what things we're going to allow people to do, who we're going to let come up to the box and everything. He's the Zen master.
He's the Zen master of the... Is that what you're known as, the Zen master of
the Zen master, Abuelo the Wise.
Abuelo the Wise, Abuelo of many colors. He's got many names. He's like Daenerys Targaryen, just got a whole list of names that we can call him by.
That's great. That's great.
But yeah, you get used to. I mean, I've worked in West Palm drift diving and like the deep ledge and what you're talking about, and feeling people out. Because drift diving,
you really get to see people's problems in those dives.
Well, because they don't get a checkout dive here. Like on our boat, we do a checkout dive, make sure everything's working before we go hang out with the big female tigers, and so you have to learn pretty quick, who can handle what, and you want them to be comfortable too, because the worst thing you can do on a tiger shark dive is panic. The minute you panic,
you're in trouble.
You're bait.
You go from being a feeder to bait.
Exactly. So that's one of the biggest things. But yeah, everybody, and by day 2 or 3, everybody's comfortable, relaxed, and sometimes a little too relaxed. And usually day 3 is when we get the closest calls because people forget that they are wild.
They are sharks. They're not just little fake holograms floating around down there for you. They're actually real animals with minds.
Sometimes you wonder whether or not these sharks know. It's like, hey, it's day 3. They're going to be going to sleep. Now's a chance.
They're sleeping on us now. Now I'm going to catch them. Now I'm going to catch them. Because tiger sharks have this uncanny ability, and you guys know this way better than I do, of going past you on this side, and you turn around, and there's their face right here on this side.
Yeah, absolutely. The second you start tracking them, they divert your attention one way, and then they're like, oh, nope, right behind the back of your head.
I'm going to come back this way, and and they don't have that very big radius to turn. For such a big animal, they turn really fast. They can move fast when they want to. So, what about, tell me about some of the times maybe where there's been divers out here that, you've had to manage a little bit more than others. Any difficulty? Have you ever had to sit anybody out?
We not really set people out. We'll sometimes do like an extra not feeding dive, so we'll have bait in the water and we'll kind of watch everybody a little bit more. We'll take like less food down, try to keep
everything calmer.
And then occasionally, somebody runs out of air or something like that, but that's usually early.
Yeah.
I'd say the hardest is the like regular customers that have been 2-3 trips and they start to think they know
everything.
But what's going on? That they can track the sharks, and that's the hardest thing because we'll rattle. You have a sound system worked out to let people know the sharks are coming behind you, and they're so sure it's not them, and that's usually when we get the closest calls because they're positive that the shark's not behind them. Yeah. And in fact, it's biting their fin tip.
It's right there. Yeah. Did you guys see Emma at all this year? Was Emma out at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we saw Emma.
So we didn't see her on our trip, but...
Yeah, I think she tends to leave. She's there at the beginning of the season, like October, November, and she tends to leave around the end of December, January, February, and comes back later in the spring. So those like the peak of winter months is when she typically, at least in the 3 seasons I've done, that's how she's done.
That's how she's been out. Yeah, and I know when we were here, we had Patches with us almost the whole time.
She's a treat.
Yeah, she's awesome. And, we had a really kind of awesome thing going because we had, we were out, and we were like the only boat out there for like 4 days. Yeah. So we had all of it, and it was really cool. And did she hang out for the rest of the season, Patches?
We even got a second hammerhead show up, Cleopatra, that is much larger than Patches. There's a man, Greg, one of our passengers, got an overhead shot of Cleopatra compared to all the other sharks, and she's larger than any of the tiger sharks in the shot as well.
Yeah, she's a big girl.
She's a monster. And it's like she almost moves around like she knows that she's the biggest because
she's cocky and
she's calm. Just has so much swag about her. Like, I don't need to worry about anything coming up behind me because I know nobody's going to try me in this water. So it's pretty neat having her around too.
Awesome. Yeah. So it sounds like it was a great season.
Yeah, we had at any point we had or a couple feeds we had 6 or 7 tiger sharks and 2 hammerheads. I don't know anywhere else like that. Like I've never seen anywhere else where you can have that kind of action on a single dive.
I don't think there's any. I was talking with Eli Martinez about it, and I actually had him on, and we were talking about Tiger Beach, and I know he does a trip every year.
Oh, he does
on
several
this,
trips. He's a good
off
friend of
this
the boat.
Yeah,
he loves this boat.
and we were talking about that a little bit, and he was like, "Yeah, there's no place like Tiger Beach as far as to get shots. I mean, the way the visibility is, the way the sharks respond." He was very much like there's nothing that compares even a little bit. I mean, you could go out to Fiji and do stuff out there, but you're still Tiger Beach is kind of like one of a kind.
Yeah, you have 6 species represented in a single spot. Like tigers, hammerheads, bulls, lemons, reefies, and nurse sharks.
Yep.
Kind of people tend to write nurse sharks off, but they're still pretty neat and charismatic in their own respects. And I feel like people who don't really dive very often don't understand how rare that is to have that kind of top tier biodiversity in a single spot at a single time.
Well, I know that was the big competition when we were out here to try to get all 6 species in one frame.
shot, yeah.
One frame, right? I don't think anybody got it. I don't know if anybody got it
I
yet.
have a very bad iPhone picture.
Yeah, he says it's 6 in there. We'll
The jury's still out on that one.
If you didn't take the picture, you kind of can't tell that one of them's a nurse shark. But since I took the picture, I know it's a nurse shark. But yeah, we need a better one. So.
Yeah. So what are the 6 species that are out there? I mean, I know it's tigers, hammers. What else?
Bull sharks as well, which a lot of people are pretty nervous. It keeps them on edge, but the bull sharks that we have here,
They just hang out around the back.
they kind of hang out around the back. Yeah, they kind of keep their distance, but there's still one that you want to keep an eye on. Lemon sharks, reef sharks, and then nurse sharks, Caribbean reef sharks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finch has a pretty good relationship with all the lemon sharks at Tiger Beach. They love them.
Well, the Narcosis captain would run us over in the summers for a crew trip. So I've been hanging out with those reef sharks, once a year, and the lemons once a year for 8-9 years. So you get to know the individuals a little bit, and so I felt really comfortable with the sharks, just not the tigers. The tigers, only one I'd ever met before was Emma. She just happened to cruise through on one of our dives.
Yeah.
And
she's amazing too.
Yeah,
when you see her coming, it's like, wow,
She's
that's
a showstopper.
she's a big shark.
Yeah.
Last time I saw her, she was 14.5 feet. She's got to be pushing 15 by now.
She's pretty big. I mean, I think they get a little longer when they're pregnant.
Yeah.
So sometimes
She was pregnant.
Yeah.
when I
So
saw
when
her.
she's pregnant, she's an absolute force. But right now, there's actually one. Daisy, did you meet? Yeah, you met Daisy.
Yeah, I met
Was
Daisy,
there. She's
yep.
a little bit bigger than Emma.
Is she really?
Not width, but length in general, like just around her belly.
Yeah.
Daisy's actually bigger than Emma. When Emma comes in, like if you were to see Daisy and Emma side by side, Emma's head is 2 widths of Daisy's head. But once you get past that, where her belly is, where she's holding all of her
actually
baby,
bigger.
she's actually bigger.
Huh.
Yeah, and a little bit longer.
Okay.
But
Cool.
when Emma's pregnant, she dwarfed Daisy.
Yeah.
When I saw her, what year was that? 15? Yeah, it was 2015 the last time I saw Emma.
I can't imagine seeing Emma pregnant.
And she was huge. I got a picture of it.
Talk about being humbled.
I got a picture of her from the bottom against the boat. And we weren't on a big boat. We weren't on anything close to this. We were on a small boat, and it was like, and I captioned underneath it, we're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah. That was my caption underneath it.
When the shark is the size of your boat.
Oh, she made the boat look small. She made the boat look really small. And it wasn't a small boat. It just wasn't a super boat like this one. But it was, but it was definitely interesting seeing her.
That's one of the benefits of having a big boat like this. So we get to be out here 8 months straight without any, without any interruptions. Like what you said earlier about being the only operator out there. Those winter months when it gets tossing and turning, she's got a big ass on her. She can sit out there when other boats can't.
Yeah, no, this boat was great. I mean, we had a great time out here on the Dolphin, and like I said, I booked it again. I think I booked it. Didn't I book it before I even walked off the boat? I think, yeah. I was just talking to Captain Scott there, and it's just a great boat. The food is amazing. The trip's amazing. The crew is awesome. I can't thank you guys enough for that experience because it was hands down the best Tiger Beach experience I've ever had, and I've been out there a couple of times. So,
awesome. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you a lot.
and we appreciate what you guys are doing, and I think one of the things that I really kind of cue into too is when you guys go down there and you're diving, you're showing people a different side of sharks.
Absolutely.
Especially all those videos that pop up on the internet of you guys feeding. It's not. You're showing people that hey, there's another side of these animals. They're not. If they wanted to kill you, you'd be dead by now.
Well, there's a video like one of the passengers took of one of the sharks. Actually, Xena, the same one that I was talking about, humbled me when I first started. Got a hold of my SPG. I didn't tuck my gear back the way I should have, and she got a hold of my SPG and kind of gave me a few tugs,
Pulled you around a little bit.
Yeah, gave me a little bit of a ride around the horseshoe, and that what the passenger posted the video on Instagram, and it went a little viral. Like Animal Planet picked it up, and a bunch of people picked it up, and there's a few pages that talked about how, like, look, these operators are doing this. This shark obviously had an opportunity to kill this person and didn't. If they wanted to, there's 2 or 3 other sharks around them. They could have easily turned.
Oh yeah,
but,
easily.
But it's what you said before about like irresponsible journalism. Like, you know, a lot of sensationalism. A lot of people, even a couple of the pages that I respected in the past were just like, oh, a man attacked by a shark in Tiger Beach, and I did my best in the comments, but comments section on social media are just an endless hellscape.
You got to remember and there's actually multiple studies out there that show that people respond to negative press better than they respond to. And what is the internet built on, right? So you take all these social media sites like Facebook and Instagram, and I'll probably get kicked off of all of them for saying all this.
Don't get Scott fired. Scott's over there wringing his hands back and forth.
He's ready to go.
Mentioning social media.
And we're going to get you over here in a second. I mean, what they do is they have actually financed studies that show what engages people, because they make money off engagement.
Yeah,
they make money off people commenting. They make money off likes. They make, that's all the stuff they make money off of. So, and what some of these studies have shown, if you get people angry, they engage much more.
Yep.
So you know what happens? After I read that, I started noticing what happens in my feed, because I'm a very big animal advocate, and I get very commentary about.
Yeah, of course.
When
we're friends on social media.
Yeah, you see, there's a few things that get me going, and that's one of them. And I basically, when you see like an animal being abused or something, I can't help myself. I just get right into it. And, all of a sudden, that's all that comes up on my feed. It's like, and
Absolutely.
I'm like, and it's so negative. And I see why people have a high instance of, depression these days, because all you get is this negative crap.
Well, yeah, it's as you said.
And you can't stop it.
It's engagement driven. Their algorithms are designed to get engagement. So if you're only specifically trying to get engagement, engagement is mainly fostered through negative response, then you're going to have a bunch of negative things in your feed. It's
Well, go ahead.
Come on a trip with us to get unplugged for a week.
Yeah, that's actually really nice.
Well, that's what and that did wonders for me. I'll tell you, I went back with a whole new attitude. Unfortunately, what happens is about 3 hours into being back home, you're like, fuck, I'm right where I was.
Threat level.
Right where I was before. This sucks. But, and like I said, that all the news media had picked up that girl getting bit.
Yeah. And there is
real fast, and they were like, 3 sharks attacked this girl, and he bit her multiple times. Now, by today, they were reversing themselves already. They were like, well, it was actually 1 shark.
There were 3 in the water, maybe 1 shark. And there's actually, everybody's going to be jumping to be the first person having that story. And there's actually a little, like I saw a couple of pages that were having a little bit of responsible journalism. Very few.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
There's some that are out there.
There's some that are out there that they give you the stats of it. Like this is a very rare occurrence. This is the first time this has happened in a decade where someone has actually died in the Bahamas from a shark attack, despite it being the shark snorkeling, shark diving capital of the world almost. But there's always going to be the sensationalist stories that are topping the newsfeed, all the kind of the tabloid-esque headlines.
It's what sells, man.
It is what sells.
It's that whole tagline is like, girl attacked by shark. Find out what happened after this message.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
It's like, I'm waiting for one of them to be like, your shower may kill you. Find out what happened after. What if I was about to get in a damn shower? I would like to know what the hell's about to kill me.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you see those stories too. Those stories are front loaded with all the negative stuff, and then when they get into like the actual statistics of it, that's 8 paragraphs down where nobody's reading anymore at this point because we have the attention span of a goldfish. We don't.
And I do the same thing, man.
Yeah,
I'm like, I read the first paragraph. I'm like, all right, I get the gist of it.
I need to know.
I know everything. Now I'm going to comment like an ass.
Yeah.
And sometimes I find out I commented too soon.
Yeah. Dial it back.
Dial it back a little bit. Bring it back. Oh, man. All right, so that's cool. Is there anything you guys want to plug? Anything out there? What's your social media website? Anything you want to throw out there if you have it?
Our Instagram is the Dolphin Dream Team. Our Facebook is the Dolphin Dream Team as well. Scott Smith, Finch. Yeah, he's Finch-tastic photo. Nobody will ever find him because he doesn't use hashtags. All he does is a smiley face with all of his posts. So it's pretty difficult to pick up on any keyword search.
Key thing with social media, you want to be found.
Anyway, yeah.
You just photo dumps with a smiley face.
So yeah, I just put a smiley face on there and probably don't get any engagements.
Yeah, so you get actually a fair amount, and more than I would expect, not using any of the tools that are given to you.
I'll tell you what, though, you guys are all over YouTube. I've seen a ton of stuff that just keeps popping up, and I'm like, hey, I know. I look at it, I'm like, I put on like shark diving in the Bahamas or something like that, and there's inevitably in one of those videos is going to pop up the Dolphin Dream and you guys out there doing some stuff. So
there's one thing everybody loves, it's photos and videos of themselves. So that's always exciting to hear. That
it's
stuff floating around. It's like, oh, that's me.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
There's stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff out there. So
if you want to get in touch with Scott to do a trip with us, contact the Dolphin Dream Team Facebook or Instagram, or inform@dolphindreamteam.com to get a hold of Captain Scott to try and book a trip with us. I know you're already coming. Is your trip filled?
Yep, my trip. I got 2 spots left on my trip. That's going to be in January 9th through the 18th on this very ship, the Dolphin Dream. If you want, you want to get in touch with me. You can find me at Steve D on Facebook. You could also find me at XtremeLyfe.com. So just message me. You could also find me at Steve@XtremeLyfe.com. You can email me right there, and get in touch with me, and I'll get you on the boat. More the merrier. My shark family keeps increasing every year. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
The more the merrier.
And now I got the Dolphin Dream guys hanging out, and it's a great trip, great crew. The food is awesome. The sharks are awesome.
The food is what you're harping on the most.
I love the food, man. I mean, the food was phenomenal.
How you really feel.
I love the food, man. It was great. We had a great time. I don't think anyone who came with us last year had any bad thing to say. I mean, it was just an amazing experience. So,
glad to hear it. We love
whether you
like
join me on a trip or you join, you just contact Scott on your own. Please do that and get on this boat, because it's a phenomenal time. You'll have a great time.
It's a life changer. It definitely changed my life being able to work on this boat. I was terrified of tiger sharks before I started this. That was one thing.
And now look at you.
Yeah, now
you're dancing with them.
Dancing's a fun way. We say we dance with them.
Yeah, dancing with them underwater. So, all right. Well, great, guys. Thank you both for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I appreciate it.
You
guys are awesome. And, I can't wait to dive with you guys both again very soon. So
someday.
All right. Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Hi, this is Steve. I'm back again at Shark Diver Network with Scott Smith, the captain of the Dolphin Dream. I just had Houston and Finch on. Great guys, and the captain's here, so we're all going to sit down. I wanted to hear from Scott and talk a little bit about him and how you came to be doing what you're doing. I mean, you got a great boat here. I've been on it myself. Love this boat. You do a lot. I know you started with dolphins, right?
No, I started with diving, actually, and then moved to dolphins, and now it's dolphins and sharks.
Now dolphins and sharks, okay. And there's a specific time of year for each, right?
Yeah. Summertime is the dolphin trips. It's mostly warmer and calmer, so that's when people come out for dolphins.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. They're 2 different trips. Shark people are shark people. Dolphin people are dolphin people. They don't really mix much.
Yeah, I know there's a little bit of a difference in the personality types, right?
I think so.
So, okay. And this boat's been in operation for a long time, right? You've been doing this for how long?
Well, next year will be my 40th year.
40 years?
Yeah,
wow.
Since 1980.
Wow,
yeah,
that's a long,
crazy.
That's a long time. Yeah, I mean, 40 years ago, I was just to put it in some perspective, I was 6 years old. So let's put that in perspective. But
and I've spent more time on the water than I have on land in my life.
Yeah, because you're out you have a pretty demanding schedule, right? You're out
35 weeks a year now.
35 weeks a year, so that's most of the year. You're out. So you guys come in like you came in today. Now you'll get the boat refreshed, get everything restocked,
we clean it, take out the trash,
get everthing going,
laundry,
and then get right back out there.
Tomorrow we load another group of 12 people.
Okay, all right, and you have 12 people going out. You're going out for dolphins right now, obviously, because it's summertime.
Yeah, this is our dolphin.
Check out. And is that more snorkeling or is it diving too?
It's completely snorkeling.
All snorkel. Okay, all right, cool. Now I know it's like the Dolphin Dream, so you think dolphins, right? It's like you got dolphin people, shark people, and we all kind of like, we're all divers, right? And it's just amazing to see the, you've had a lot of experience seeing different types of sea life all over the place. And, do you have any specific favorites? Are dolphins your favorites or sharks your favorite?
Yeah, I'm a dolphin person.
You're a dolphin guy? Okay, all right.
No, I should say.
I won't hold it against you.
You might. Somebody might. I'm an ocean person.
Okay. All right, fair
but
enough.
I prefer dolphins over sharks. Sorry, they're smarter.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, they are. I mean, dolphins are incredibly smart. I mean, there was actually a time where the military was trying to weaponize them.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
I mean, that was a
pretty
long
ridiculous.
time ago where they're actually trying to train dolphins to swim with bombs up to enemy ships and just.
I'm not 100% sure those days are over.
I don't know either. I mean, I can't. Who knows what the heck the military's doing? I mean, I've been reading a lot of different books lately, and one of them I found out that there's actually there was a department of the government called the Health Alteration Department.
Oh, great!
You can imagine what that was. That was basically assassination. It was basically what it was. But and the books are pretty true to fact. So, but anyway, so you've been doing this for about 40 years. A lot of experience out here on the water. And you still do some diving. I mean, you came out and dove with us a few times when we were here, and
Well, I've got Finch training up as a captain, which means I can get back in the water a little bit, and swimming with a little bit of dolphins this summertime. And
that's interesting. So, what does it take to be a captain? I mean, I know it's this is a big boat. I mean, I couldn't even dream of driving something this size. I mean, I could drive a little boat around, and actually down here in Florida, I just found out you really just go to any place and you get like a license for the day. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Which is why we were coming in on our last trip. We were here, as you know, I went out with Captain Randy while we were down here with Emerald. And, we're coming in, and there's people they don't know the rules, man. They're just all over the place.
Much more dangerous than shark diving.
Yeah. That's why I tell people I have more problems on land than I do in the ocean. I'm better in the ocean. As long as I'm in the ocean, I'm fine.
People are the most dangerous animal, when you look at it.
Very true. Very true. But, yeah, I was kind of almost horrified to find out that you really don't need much of anything or any experience. They kind of give you a crash course for like an hour and say, okay, now you're a boat captain, and you go out. But to drive a boat like this, that could not possibly be the case. So what do you need to do to do
especially when you start adding in that you have paying passengers on board.
Yeah, because now it's a business, it's commercial, so there's insurance, there's all that stuff that you have to go by. But, what's the pathway to become a captain?
Well, my original license and most entry-level licenses take about 5 years.
Okay.
You have to have a total of 720 days at sea, which you can't do 360 a year.
Yeah.
It takes a minimum of 5 years, and then you've got courses to go through and take your test. And even once you have that license, it doesn't really mean you're a captain yet.
Yeah,
you still
kind of a learner's permit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still need
kind of like when you get your open water certification. It's a learner's permit.
Yes, you still need to be working with somebody who's still teaching you and getting experience and stuff like that.
Yep, no doubt. All right, so there's a long pathway to doing it, which actually makes a lot of sense because you're driving people around and you got to know your stuff, right?
Yes.
And so when you go out to Tiger Beach, you're going out there. You're generally out there. Most trips are generally about how long?
6 to 8 night trips.
6 to 8 night trips,
yes.
And you basically go out and you have. I know we have one. You have one day where you get closer to land where you could kind of. So it's one of the things we were kind of hitting on in the previous segment of this podcast was that. You're kind of out here. You don't have any social media. You don't have anything. They told me not to bring up social media, but when they tell me not to do something, I go right there. I mean, that's just the way it is. But
one of the downfalls of society.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Like I said, it's one of those things where social media becomes. There's a lot of things that are positive, but there's far more things I think that are negative about what happens.
It's the same with all computers and technology. Some things get easier, and then a lot of things get more and more complicated.
Yeah. Well, and laws haven't caught up yet. Laws don't. It takes a long time for laws to catch up with technology. And,
as long as there's money in politics, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Big corporations.
People are pushing. Yeah, people are pushing it. So. Yeah. So anyway,
fortunately, I've lived most of my life away from.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. You have one of those rare situations where you get to kind of come in. You come into port for a couple of days.
Yep. 2 days.
And now you're plugged in. Now you probably take care of all the stuff you got to do for your business, right? That's you got 2 days to do that.
Social media, all that.
All the stuff you got to do. I agree. You got to do all that stuff.
It's a good thing I run good trips because I'm horrible at sales.
Well, you know what? Your trips speak for themselves.
Well, that's
like I was saying in the last one. I think you get probably most of your business is word of mouth.
Yes,
my guess, because
and that's the best advertising.
Oh yeah,
really
because you get one person like I know for us when we came out here with you guys, we had such a great time. All we did was go talk about it to everybody. And of course, I had booked another trip before I even left the boat, and that's for me, I'd like to make that a yearly thing, and we'll talk about that as we go on.
Very good.
But and as and I talked to Eli Martinez as well, as I mentioned earlier in this segment. That and he loves this boat. I mean, he couldn't say enough nice things, and he comes out with you guys I think a few times a year too, right?
Yeah,
so,
about 4 times.
About 4 times a year, yeah. So I know he was on the trip right after us last year, and it's just a great boat. We have a great time on it, and especially and now it's even like with the podcast we're talking about it. I wanted to make sure when I came down here this time that I got out here and I was able to interview you guys, talk with you guys a little bit, and kind of help promote. Because I think it's a great ship. I think it's a great boat. Got a great crew, great captain.
Oh,
we love your dancing. We got to talk about your dancing.
Let me change the subject.
There's no change in the subject. But
no, the crew and I, we care. We like to make people happy.
Yeah, and it's having fun, man. That's all.
A big part of it.
That's all. It's all it's about. I know you have something called 2-2 Tuesday.
I didn't start that.
Who was responsible for that one?
Finch started that. I fit right in, but I didn't start it.
Yeah, and Finch was telling me he's trying to get Thong Thursday going, right? But
no, I don't want to see his white ass anymore.
But I think that just speaks though to the great crew you have here, because you guys just have fun, and that's really what it's about. When people come on a trip, they want to have fun. They don't want to be treated poorly, or they don't want people to be miserable. They don't want, and you guys are not. You got, especially on a boat you're going to live on for 9 days or whatever.
No, it's got to be happy.
You got to have a good time, a good sense of humor, a good crew, and just be able to laugh at yourself too, right?
Yes,
definitely.
I think we all should laugh at ourselves.
We have to.
Often.
I think if more people did that, the world would be a much better place. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people who aren't able to do that.
Yes.
But you know what? We had a great time with you guys. We're looking forward to the next trip. And like I said, January we're coming back out. Cool. Still got 2 spots left. I'm going to bring that up again. And if you can't make our trip in January, contact Scott at the Dolphin Dream or Dream Team, right? Dream Team,
Dolphin Dream Team.
Okay, contact Scott, and we'll he'll get you on the boat. I mean, it's a great trip, definitely worth it. Couldn't be happier with this
We'll
boat.
show you sharks and dolphins and
whatever you want, really, whatever you want,
Yeah.
So it's definitely an awesome experience. So
Cool.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for letting me do this on your boat.
Here.
Thank you for letting me do this on your boat.
Yeah, you're on board now.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna be, now I got to do a feed this year.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Anyway, but anyway, you know what? I'm glad you guys are, such a great crew and had a great time, and look forward to coming back out. So, is there anything else you want to plug or talk about or say?
I think we covered it mostly.
We covered it all?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so like I said,
cool.
follow me at XtremeLyfe.com. Contact Scott at the Dolphin Dream or the Dream Team. Thank you, Houston, Finch, Scott, all you guys for being who you are and working with these animals and being of the ocean and doing what you do.
Cool.
So, we definitely need people like you guys. So, awesome. And
come and join us.
Come join us. Come join us, definitely. We have a great time out here. So, that being said, have a great day. Remember to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.